Of course, today, the first full day of spring, and Greg Riley is here to talk about how that can bring some different critters out as well.
Definitely. I mean, skunks, that's what we're talking about. Obviously, spring is here, so obviously, I think everyone in the Wabash Valley has probably smelled one at least once in their life, or had their car being bombed by one, or their dog being sprayed by one. So we're going to be talking about what exactly is a skunk, what is this really noxious odor that they have, and how to get rid of it.
It's a well-known smell, so you're not going to miss it. You know when your dog's been sprayed.
You definitely. And if you really think of a skunk is actually an Indian name. They don't really have very many predators. I mean, cougars will avoid them, bears will avoid them, wolves, coyotes. Nothing wants to, do anything with them.
Who wants to mess with that smell?
Who wants to mess with that smell, except for, your bullheaded dog like Tony. Now, Tony is a Chinese crested. He's a little bit of a punk. He's very protective of me at my house. He'll charge and run around the backyard barking. So I'm kind of using him as a little bit of a show and tell guy. But what happens is that a skunk has a 3-chemical compound in its anal glands that'll spray up to 10 feet with really deadly accuracy, okay? And what that actual is an oil. Now, a lot of people will say, well, what the best thing to do is use tomato juice. I think everyone has heard that, right?
I think everyone's heard that rumor, take a bath with tomato juice.
It doesn't work. It's the biggest wives' tale in the world. Vinegar doesn't work. I've used Scope, which kind of works some way okay, but all it really does is just disguise the smell, and you don't really want to do that because it's an oil.
That sticks to the skin.
That sticks to the fur, right? So what you really want to do is break down the oil, and that's the best way to get rid of the smell.
Okay, and you have something that you can actually use for that.
Right, yeah. One of my clients, Dr. Susan Amos, and her dog Mocha. Mocha's a wonderful dog. Mocha was just not paying any attention, just minding her own business, and she got hit by a skunk. So Dr. Amos called and just almost in a panic, because obviously Mocha was in the house. The whole house was smelling up with his odor. So this was kind of sitting on our shelf for quite some time. It's expired. We just gave it to her, and it worked really well. It's called Thiotrol spray. You can pick it up at probably any veterinary clinic, or you can call around. It's even on Amazon.com for a pretty reasonable price. But we gave it to her. I just wanted to know what the results were, and she used it twice. She said it was fantastic.
And it completely neutralized that smell.
Neutralized the smell. It got rid of the oil. The biggest problem that a lot of people will do is they'll immediately put their dog in, say, the shower, and all that does is just spread the oil along the dog. So that's another thing you don't really want to do. The best thing to do is put say some of this in a bucket and use a sponge and just gently try to get the oil off the dog as opposed to, just dousing the whole dog with water.
Okay. Now, if anybody wants to actually purchase that, you said they can purchase it at any pet food store, vet store, or online? I
think so. I mean, I'm not sure if Vet Solutions is in pet stores. I do know that some veterinary clinics have it, but I looked it up on Amazon.com. It's only about 4 reviews, but the reviews were fantastic. So I think that, and Mocha smells a lot better now, so I think that will help a lot if your dog does get hit by a skunk.
And if you take a look, we actually have a graphic with Skunk 101, some tips on ways to avoid being stinky with that skunk smell.
Right, absolutely. Obviously what I was talking about is the 3-chemical compound that makes up the odor. They could spray the toxins up to 10 feet. Treating the dog when it's sprayed, it's important to break down the oils again from the skunk glands, and tomato juice. And it's just an old wives' tale. I mean, you're really throwing your money away. So.
That's surprising to me because I'm going back to my childhood when my mom made me give my dog not one but multiple tomato juice baths because it didn't work, and now I know why.
Right,
it doesn't
exactly.
work.
And then you probably smelled like the skunk
Yeah,
too.
the entire house smelled like the skunk.
Right. Certainly use gloves when you're doing that.
Well, as we take you to break, here's a look at how you can contact Greg Riley if you have any questions. You're watching News 10 This Morning on WTHI.